Today we have with us Chirag, who is the Chief Revenue Officer for Bombay Shaving Company. We all know Bombay Shaving Company. It's the online first premium men's grooming brand. And it started as a direct-to-consumer experiential shaving regimen. But it expanded to skin, beard, and categories. And today we want to talk to them about how how the last 3 or 4 months have been with them, the new things that they've been doing this year, and how do they plan to move forward next. How do the next 90 days to the next 900 days look for them? So welcome, Chirag. Thanks for
Thanks, Shani, for giving me the opportunity to come and interact with you.
Awesome. So I think let me start with the first question that we have. Is something that's on everyone's mind, which is the situation that we find ourselves in. So unprecedented. Do you want to share some of your thoughts on what the shape of this new normal is going to be? What can we expect going forward?
I would truly say that, in this times, forecasting is a difficult thing to do. So you've asked me a tricky question, but I'll give my 2 cents on this. And in terms of the way we look at it, truly, as you said, that these are unprecedented times. And one of the evidences of that is, from a technology or a digital marketer point of view, is that if you look at search keyword trend for unprecedented as a word, that has gone through the roof. So truly unprecedented. I think whosoever is alive on earth today has never seen such a thing. Probably something happened in 1920s, but most of us were not there. Right. So I look at it that, we look at it that next 12 to 18 months is going to be start-stop arrangement. We don't see a vaccine coming out very quickly. Hence, businesses will have to adopt to running it in this fashion. We will have to be more agile and adapt to this ever-changing environment. Too many variables currently are changing on a daily basis. And that's also reflected in, the way stock markets work. You see up and downs daily because high volatility environment. And I would, look at it from 2 perspectives, that in terms of when you ask me the shape of the new normal. So one is consumers. Consumer, we believe that now is, at least for some time, will not go out, will be less social. Hence, what they're going to do is they're going to spend more time in-house, working from home. So you will see demand move accordingly. So you will see media usage go up. You will see them spending more time on Netflix, Amazon Prime Videos of the world. You will see them spending more times on Facebook and other social media sites consuming content. With respect to businesses, I think we have a very strong view on businesses which are at least consumer product companies, which are high gross margin, have low leverages, have smart managers, honest managers at the top, will thrive through this. And who have always kept an eye on cash and bank balance. These are, time-tested, I would say, matrices, which have worked over last 1 century. And we follow them very diligently. And I think businesses who will follow these basic principles will continue to do well.
So we're back to basics, right? Save money, keep liquidity in place. What is Bombay Shaving Company really doing? Are you doing anything differently during this time? Are you doing, have you enhanced some of your capabilities?
Yeah, I would say that, so it doesn't mean that, we have become less proactive in our approach. It doesn't mean that we become defensive. We have recently raised capital, so you can say that we are lucky that way. And to adapt to this environment, we've done a bunch of changes. One is that we are an online first brand, and as I told you that if media consumption is going to go up, so now you have large inventory which is available online. How do you go out and uh, build your business even more online in today's world? How do you grab more share from competitors? That's how we look at it. And so I would divide that into two, three, four aspects. One is that, how do you look at supply chains in this world? How do you look at demand generation in this world? I think demand, because we are an online first brand, we will take care of that, and we are very aggressive on that front. I think businesses who were thinking that online is an option I think, are now under serious pressure. And I think the important point is that how do you ensure that our employees today, my workforce today, adapts to working from home. That's an important thing which we are changing. So we have always believed that best talent needs to work for best companies. That's how the equation sets up. Location should not be a constraint in between that. I think this has become an opportunity for us to do out and build our organization around that fact. So we have started to work with a lot of freelancers. We've implemented a lot of technology tools internally, ranging from how do we ensure that every employee has visibility, to having a lot of all hands every Friday, wherein we have quizzes, we have mystery rooms. So because you need to engage also.
Exactly.
And we have implemented employee recognition tools, wherein everyone is allowed to or everyone is encouraged to give trophies to each other for whatever work they've done, and everything, all of this is online. So we've adopted bunch of things which we used to do in an offline way in our offices, now online. So these are, that's how we are shaping our business. And we are now, you're realizing that this is going to stay with us for at least 12, 18 months. It's not that, it's going to go away with a jiffy. That's not going to happen. So we are well adapted to that and continue to evolve as things shape up.
That's interesting. So you spoke about changing consumer behavior, and how people are consuming content online, how people are do you think that is something that will continue post COVID, or continue post the next year, or post the situation? Is this a learned behavior that will become a habit, or do you think this will go back to what it was? For example, you shared a post about COD, or and do you think it's a behavior that people will learn and keep up with, or will they go back to?
What I would say is that there are two, three aspects to this thing, and I always say that core intrinsic human needs would remain the same. We always want to be social, so that core intrinsic is going to be there. So today we might not be able to do sports travel parties, but my sense is that we are a very resilient species. We will come back. We will learn to do sports travel parties with COVID. So Germany has already started doing Bundesliga. So the work has already started. I think it's a matter of time that we will learn to live in this new environment. There is no choice. Coming to how we are seeing on business some of the trends. One of the trends which I had shared yesterday was that because there was a dip in, there was a lockdown, now there is supply chain issues, etc. Every business moved to prepaid orders, and more also because we want to do contactless delivery, ensure that customer is safe. So, and we have seen huge rise in prepaid orders because of that. My sense is that that's going to stick for a while. So you will see a new normal in that.
Correct.
It won't happen that people will not go to COT, but you will see a new normal. Similarly, we are seeing that there is a lot of new users which are coming up online, and especially in a higher age category. who were earlier either not comfortable shopping online or were not used to it, are today being forced because they are the most vulnerable. And now tools are being developed to help them out. So our, I think, sense is what Amazon and the world, and we're reading various reports that if India has had 100 million users, transacting users pre-COVID, by end of the year, we can look at this number to be anywhere between 200 to 250 million.
Wow.
So, and we have seen, at least in the past, when users have come online, there is a convenience play. People do stick to it. So online, definitely, we'll see a new normal. That doesn't mean by any standard that users not going to go offline. What we're going to see is we're going to see a new normal, huge jump, which would have taken us 5 years, will happen in a year.
That's nice. That's good. So last time our president came on, our prime minister came online and he spoke to us and he gave us a new vocal ke liye vocal. And you guys, I was impressed with the way you guys did a turnaround on that. It was like within a campaign ready around this. So tell us a little bit about this and how do you make things turn around so fast?
So one of the core principles we have internally is that we are a very hypothesis-driven organization. We have hypotheses on a lot of things. So
Okay.
When this immigrant movement situation was happening in the country, currently is also happening. We were trying to analyze at the leadership level that, why is this happening and what can be done. And what we realized was that, Indian manufacturing is 1/10 of China.
Yeah.
And the margins are so thin that they can't even support 1 month of salary of their workers. Hence, immigrant workers are moving back. That's one of the prime reasons. So that's when we realized that, it's upon us that we support Indian manufacturing. And that's the way to, grow the country. And at that point of time, we had visualized that, Indian manufacturing should be boosted. We should go all out for making local products. And by that, it doesn't mean that, we should ban all foreign brands. That's not the idea. The idea is that they should be encouraged to set up manufacturing units in India. Competition is always healthy. Capitalism is always good. But we should, as a country, ensure that manufacturing booms, and whatever we as a business have to do for that, we should proactively do that. So, for example, we shifted our manufacturing of a complicated razor from China to India. Basis this thought. So the thought has always prevailed with us. And I think what happened was that this time our Prime Minister kind of seemed to agree with us. So we were always with that idea. And hence, and we've always had a consumer pulse on what's going to happen. So we will always have six campaign ideas floating in our head. 3 of them we are working. And you will seem that it'll seem that, we've become, we've been very fast, but we will always be, in search of those things that this will work. So you will see that, for example, we're working today on DIY. It has been on a trend, but we are now working on that DIY is going to become even more important. How do you take that to the next level? So that's our approach to everything we do in the organization. Have hypotheses, build products, sell them to the consumer. Similarly, build campaigns which resonate with the consumer. And this hypothesis comes from thinking about the consumer first. So we think about consumers first, and then that's how our agility rewards us.
I think that's great. I really hope more brands start thinking about manufacturing in India. I think that is the important, that was the actual important takeaway from what the Prime Minister said, rather than just going Indian products. I think it's great you guys are thinking on those lines, and I hope more brands are thinking along those lines.
Yeah, I think it's a nuanced topic. As I said, that people need to realize that it's not an anti-foreign competition thing.
Correct.
It's not at least what the way we look at it. It should not be that we will consume only Swadeshi products now.
Yeah.
That's not the, at least in our heads, that's not the idea. You can't ask people to consume inferior products because they are not manufactured in the country.
Correct. So a lot we've been talking about, consumer behavior is changing in so many fashion, in so many ways. Do you see a change in your media mix? You advertise, what were the channels that you were using, and have there been significant changes there? And obviously, will some of those changes continue in the long term?
So I'll again answer this question consumer first. Consumer has gone, so consumer started to spend more time on either Amazon Prime, Netflix of the world, or second, they've started to spend more time on social media. So we look at it from that point of view, that now what has happened because of that is that the amount of ad inventory available in both these areas have shot up, because if earlier consumers were spending 2 hours, now they're spending 4 hours. So inventory is automatically doubled. However, parallelly, what has also happened is that because businesses have gone down, so business participation in utilizing that ad inventory has also gone down. So overall fill rates across these medias have gone down. What we have started to do is we have started to leverage all the channels which are heavy digital first, and started to use them in a ROI way, ROI accretive way. And we have always been doing that, we have always been ROI focused. And in addition, what we have started to look at is, and we've done a couple of deals of that there are some offline strategic deals which are available today for long term. We have started to explore that and try and close that. But largely, I would say our media mix has always been predominantly digital. And I see that as a pie increasing even further, as because consumers gone online. More consumers gone online, both in terms of number and in terms of time spent.
Right. I think that's something that we've been hearing from all brands now. So we hope the revolution post COVID is digital led. Any specific challenges that you've been facing as a direct to consumer brand versus some of these big jewels of the world, or any opportunities that this has really led to?
Direct to consumer business. So we have always believed that direct to consumer business is an important part of Bombay Shaving Company. It's not, that we want to only garner insights. We want to grow that's a core part of the business. Mm-hmm. It's a tricky business in today's world because we have to manage our warehouse on a daily basis. And we don't have our logistics as compared to other e-commerce biggies. So, we have spoken to large logistic players in the country and first assess that, how are they ensuring that one, consumer is safe, and two, their employees are safe. So I think there are challenges there in terms of, how do you ensure that contactless delivery truly happens? And it might happen for like a week when we are opening up, but how do you ensure it will continue to happen? Because this COVID scenario is not going away. How do we ensure that our warehouses, we pack material in such a way that it's safe for the consumer?
Correct.
So we're doing a lot of those things. In fact, we were thinking that, we should put up a camera inside our warehouse and show it to our consumers that this is what we're doing. So we want to do some of those things, but these are typical challenges for D2C businesses. Of course, it's throwing an opportunity also, because that's one channel because now media is scalable because of being in digital. Products we have in our warehouse, Amazon, etc., have their own capabilities. But D2C, if you figured out what works for that channel, you can immediately scale today.
Correct.
So that itself is available, and which relates to my earlier point that if inventory is more readily available and is available at a cheaper cost, why not go out and make D2C more profitable? So we look at it from that point of view.
Makes sense. And Last question from my end is it's a open question, is how are you really planning your business in the short term and in the long term? So we said 90 days to 900 days. What's it like?
So I think we have our core principles laid out, and we know strong fundamentals of a good CPG company. So we will always abide by that. We will, whenever this is a confusing, uncertain environment. I think those principles have been guiding force for us. So we want to continue to be agile. That's one. We want to leverage technology to solve a lot of consumer problems. We will continue to do that. So, for example, we've changed the entire stack for our website in the interim. We want to take care of our investors. We want to take care of our employees. So, for employees, we are implementing a lot of these work from home initiatives that we will continue to do. That's more from operational point of view. And in terms of businesses, as I shared, that we believe that consumer products businesses who have high gross margins, low leverage, low debts, high cash balances, or at least an eye on what is in the bank, and honest managers who can solve for it, who are consumer first, will thrive from 90 to 900 days. Just that we have to be a little more cautious now, because as I said, that a lot of things are changing. Today we might scale demand, but supply is a hit. Now immigrant laborers have gone back home. Factories will run at suboptimal capacities. So how do you ensure that you keep running, you keep servicing consumers? And we see also there will be some overall macro level demand dip. We might not be affected because I would still say that we are a small brand, and our category is not something which is purely discretionary. So autos, travel, hotels will see a huge hit because the decision can be postponed, and hotels, travels, etc. anyways is more about social gathering, which consumer is very wary of today. We personal grooming. I think yesterday Amit Agarwal was there on one of the televisions. He was saying that they are witnessing huge rise in products which help people become more productive at home, and to personal grooming. So luckily personal grooming is not hit, and we might see a taper in terms of growth, but being a small brand, I think we will continue to look at it from an opportunity point of view, that how can we scale up from here.
That's amazing. Thank you so much, and wish you all the best in all your future endeavors.
Thanks, Annie. Thanks for having me.